sometimes ones get confusing, it's just fun to kind of learn about how everyone's university is set up, what kind of courses they've taken.
So keep up the great work and happy hacking.
It's been a very fun learning journey.
You brought dedication and hard work to this fellowship.
Did you know, fun fact, that we received nearly 4,000 applications for the fall 2020 semester?
I was really able to feel comfortable in that large code base.
Something else that came out of it was figuring out good time management.
Everybody, my name is Will and I am the program manager for the MLH Fellowship. And I'd love to welcome you to the MLH Fellowship graduation for the full 2022 cohort. Can you believe we're at the end of this journey already? You've encountered a lot. You've dealt with some difficult bugs, built some impressive solutions, as well as made some incredible connections along the way. Something that you should all be incredibly proud of and foster for the years to come. We're going to spend the next hour reflecting on the past 12 weeks by hearing from a number of different perspectives. We're going to hear from some of our fellows, some of our pod leaders, MLH staff, as well as our partners. I'm going to hand it over to Arslan, who's going to tell you a little bit more about what the MLH Fellowship is and the different programs that we ran this cohort.
Hey folks, hello. I am pretty sure most of you were expecting Will here, but here is me, Arslan. So welcome everyone to the MLH Fellowship graduation. I'm quickly going through what exactly is MLH Fellowship, if in case you do not know about it. Especially for those of you who are here tuning in for the very first time, are hearing MLH Fellowship for the very first time. And I am also going to make sure that I do not drop my hat. So basically, MLH Fellowship is a 12 weeks of alternative to the traditional internships. And here at MLH Fellowship, we help you by helping you to get your hands on some real-world projects that includes projects that are being sponsored and backed up by Amazon, Meta, GitHub, etc. So we have all these amazing companies as a partner with us, and we help you to by helping you to get your hands on the real-world projects, and that is basically what MLH Fellowship is about. So we will be talking about our next batches and when and where the admissions are started and how you can apply for that very soon in this stream. So stay tuned for that. And with that, I think we can kick off the MLH Fellowship graduation with our SWE, as known as Software Engineering track. So I am going to hand it over to our very first fellow, and let's see what they think about. Let's learn from their experience. How was this experience for them? So here I'm gonna hand it over to Netri.
For an internship online, and I couldn't find something that could be remote. And then all of a sudden, I saw it, and then I didn't really take it seriously because I just saw it and felt that it was not for me until the Google Summer of Code started, and everyone in my area knows, or some developers that I know are associated with it. And then they talk as well as about the MLH fellowship, and I felt it was much more exciting or fitting for my case. I wanted to be a better software engineer, and I was looking for an opportunity to do it while I was in college, because normally people assume that you need to finish college in order to even start with your career or working. And I was thinking, no, I would like to be in college, and I'll also have an advantage over other students by being involved with my career and software engineering. And I thought that I also knew that the best way for me to learn how to do something is by doing it, but also having the theory side by side. So it's not only that I will have experience working on something, I will have someone explaining why I should do it in a certain way. I would say some of the challenges will be at some point I feel I will not be able to tackle an issue. At the beginning, all of the issues that I was assigned to were relatively in order or in on the same page with my abilities and the skills and even my experience. However, when I had to work on caching APIs responses, I was a bit overwhelmed. because I didn't know how to do it or where to begin with. And I learned that you need to get started. And of course, it won't be perfect at the beginning. Just simply send a PR with the best version that you can work on or that you can deliver. And then the mentors will give feedback anyways, and you'll anyways have to work on the fixes. There was a point where my mentors were praising me, praising my work, especially Paran, and I felt accomplished since I had this anxiety of doing it in a way that will be satisfying for everyone. In the past, I used, well, you know, Joey, I work as a freelancer and over as a software developer freelancer, and normally I work with a client and they tell me what they want, and I come up with a solution and I tell them the process and everything, and I start working on it, and it's a lonely process. And then I have to get mentorship from other parents. However, in this case, I felt that when I was still working alone in certain aspects, but when I needed a new perspective, I always will have Jacob, for example, tell me, no, Natalie, this is an option, and then parent will have a different perspective and tell me, no, Natalie, this is a different option, and that provided more confidence in the best solution because I had input from everyone and we will came to a conclusion after discussing it. And I will also have more support in terms of the perspective or the fact that maybe if I didn't work on something similar before, they knew how to do it because they've done something.
So thank you, Natri. That was Natri from our SWE track. Now moving on, we have one other fellow from SWE track. So moving on to Mr. Aziz.
My first and foremost challenge was during first few weeks of fellowship because there was so much I didn't know. Starting with all the concepts which our open source software operated on, and ending with just huge code base where I didn't understand what's going on at all. And that was my challenge for first, I think, 3 weeks. I was just trying to familiarize myself with the project, all the code base, what goes where, what flags an error, how it's supposed to be working, how to run a command, and all that stuff. But eventually, with the help of other fellows, as well as my maintainer, as well as a lot of research on my own and debugging and breaking some stuff and trying to fix it, I was really able to feel comfortable in that large code base. And yeah, I think that was the challenge I had. And also some small details, like sometimes I didn't know language specifics, all the methods for arrays, which I had to go and learn and to really understand what's going on. I think fellowship have helped me immensely because I'm not a computer science major, and I sort of discovered my passion towards tech and software development very late in my undergrads. So I couldn't really change my major or study a lot of computer science classes that would prepare me for a job. So it was a lot of self learning on my end, and this fellowship really boosted all my skills. And through this fellowship, I was able to learn how to work in large code base, how to work in a team, how to use GitHub. I mean, I knew how to use GitHub, but I didn't know how to use GitHub, really. So this fellowship really opened my eyes to a lot of things. And apart from that, I'm really glad I was an open source fellow. The contributions I was making, the comments I was making, all of them, every single of them is staying on my GitHub and is done through my GitHub. And I think that contributed a lot in chances of me getting my dream job as software developer, because the hiring people would be able to go to my GitHub and see all the comments I made, some PRs that got merged, how I communicate. And I think fellowship really boosted my chances and helped me a lot to gain skills for my.
Thank you, Aziz. So that was Aziz. So thank you, Aziz, for sharing your challenges and highlights. And yeah, that was so accurate that you knew GitHub, but you actually did not knew GitHub. So with that, let's move on to our SWE pod leader, Vosha.
Off as a fellow initially for for 2 seasons, summer and fall, and then I took one of the seasons off just for school purposes. And I saw that they were opening up like pod leader applications, and I know I'd talked to my first pod leader, Arslan, actually, and he'd kind of talked about being a pod leader, so I thought it was interesting. Applied, did the interviews, and then last summer was my first time, and it was very interesting. So I decided to continue with it for this fall as well. A typical day, given what day it is, on just like Monday, Wednesday, or Friday for stand-up retro days, we'll sit down during our scheduled time, kind of just talk for the first 5 minutes about how things are going with everyone in general, and then we'll do our regular stand-up notes, talk about any technical error like issues they're coming across, and then at the end we'll go through, open up the pod tracker, update the pod tracker so that my person who's overseeing me is able to kind of give a very good like have a very good insight into what everyone's up to on a daily basis. And on days when we don't have stand-up calls, we'll have maintainer meetings where my job is more to just kind of sit in the back and watch what they're doing, and watch the technical like editing that's going on and take notes. I think definitely some of the challenges are making sure that everyone's attending the pod meetings and keeping up with their pod tracker. That's why I started implementing that thing where you have to update it like at the start of the week and at the end of the week. Because in the past, I'd observed that if you don't sit down and have a regular scheduled time to update the pod tracker, people could start falling behind and they might not realize what they're being held accountable for. I think just like meeting everyone, like for example, in my fall pod right now, I have someone from Poland, two people from Italy, one person from Canada, and the other person from California, which is really nice to be able to, while time zones get confusing, it's just fun to kind of learn about how everyone's university is set up, what kind of courses they've taken, and the differences and the similarities between like their daily lives. I think something that I've taken away from myself is you need to ask for help earlier. Like obviously needs to be a certain time when you're kind of debugging things yourself and figuring it out. But once you've been stuck on something for like an hour maximum and you just can't seem to make any progress, start reaching out. It doesn't have to be directly to the maintainer. It can be, your fellows, or it can be the general community, but reaching out earlier is definitely one of the like important takeaways I've had myself. So to Pod Fall Point One, you guys have been a great group of fellows. I'm not able to pick favorites, obviously, but this has been one of the most enjoyable experiences ever. All five of you have showed a very great improvement and shown that you guys are all great hard workers. So keep up the good work. I'm so
All right, so that was Vosha, and yes, she was one of my fellow in last year for the summer for the summers for the production engineering. And with that, let's move on towards the SWE partners Meta.
My name is Martijn van Exel. I am with you today briefly to kind of talk about what my experience has been working with Major League Hacking, and in particular with Jan and Jackson, the two software engineering fellows that I've had the pleasure to work with over the past few weeks on MapRoulette, which is an open source project, an open source web-based platform for OpenStreetMap to solve tasks to improve the map. Pretty complex. It's been under development for 10 years already, and it's grown quite a bit. So I was actually very impressed by how quickly they were able to sort of familiarize themselves with it and onboard themselves and ask the right questions. And after a week or so, they were fully up and running, and we were able to be productive, kind of pretty much straight out of the gate, which I thought was super impressive. Right? We had a few different tasks lined up for them to basically choose from. I didn't want to sort of pigeonhole them too much, and I had a few things that I thought might be interesting and would cover sort of 10 weeks worth of work. And they were quick to sort of huddle and decide what it is that matched their skill set and their interests. And from there on, we were just moving right along. There was a very quick turnaround. We had new iterations every few days or every week. We got together frequently, and they were very quick to ask questions. to me or to the developer on the project as well. So actually, after 7 weeks, it turned out that we weren't running out of time, but we were running out of project for them to work on. So as they finished up the testing and squashing a few remaining bugs in the system, we were able to work on a second feature even. So as I record this right now, they're still working on that and finishing that off. So actually, I got a lot more than I thought I would be able to in the 10 weeks or so that we had together. So super impressed and super thankful really for them. I'll miss them quite a bit. It's been a while. I've been learning a lot too. It's been a while since I've onboarded new people onto the project, and this for me was also an opportunity to really rethink how sort of new developers can join in contributing to this open source project. So that's what I got out of it too, besides just the enjoyment of working with them. I actually hope that I got them excited enough that they'll be able to they'll be wanting to contribute in the open source space and to MapRoulette in the future. So whether that happens or not, we'll see, and I hope it does. And but regardless, I wish both Jan and Jackson the very best. I know they'll do really well. I wanted to thank Major League Hacking, the organization, for giving me the opportunity, and I hope to be able to work with you again. Thanks so much, and enjoy the ceremony.
Thank you, Martin. So that was Martin from Meta. We also hope to see you again in our upcoming batches. So now with that, let's move on toward our site reliability engineering track, and starting up with our first SRE fellow. So we have Carlson with us.
Big tech company offer, and I actually referenced MLH site reliability engineering track with Google, and I brought it up. It actually wasn't on my resume, but I brought it up in the interview, and the hiring manager, even though it was a full stack developer internship, we ended up talking about SRE the entire time. So every time I brought it up in interviews, interviewers definitely their eyes kind of light up, almost in shock, because it's just such a unique and new thing that I think they're kind of surprised that not only someone in early career, but a student knows about it and is passionate about it. So I think that's one of the ways it's definitely helped me.
All right. With that, so thank you again, Carson, for sharing your experience. So moving on to the next fellow.
MLH fellowship, coming from a self-taught background, and finding opportunities to gain experience and learn new skills was pretty difficult. And so when I saw that MLH was offering a fellowship open to anyone with just a few projects under their belt or a passion to learn, I just jumped right onto it. And yeah, I haven't looked back ever since. I think some challenges I faced during the fellowship was definitely learning all the new tech that was given to us. I think like Python, Bash scripting, VPS, just to name a few. It was just like the amount of learning materials given in such a short amount of time. It was definitely a little overwhelming at times, but really appreciate the experience, really challenged myself and allowed me to just gain so many different skills and breadths of knowledge in different fields. And I think something else that came out of it was figuring out good time management, something that you don't really think about while learning different technologies and stuff like that is how to manage your time well. And so I really appreciate learning that as well from the challenges I faced. I think what I enjoyed the most during the fellowship was definitely, my pod leader, Hugo, and also the fellows, Tara, Sarah, Jane, Serenity, and Bukumi. They all created such a welcoming environment of support and really passionate learning. And I also really appreciate and enjoyed that I was able to get my hands dirty with all kinds of new tech and tools. And I also gained valuable experience and newfound knowledge that I can take with me towards my future as a developer. So for our pod, we had mentors from MLB, or Major League Baseball, part of the SRE team there, John, Melinda, and Jessica. Thank you so much for such a great experience. And they always really helped us with any questions, concerns, or problems that we had, and always gave us ample amount of time to just pick their brains and gain a lot of great info. And so yeah, they really just helped me gain a clear and open look at what it takes to be an SRE in today's field, and definitely see it as a career path for myself as well. I think what I'm most proud of from my time at the MLH fellowship is definitely just how far I've come, especially whether it's through this fellowship or just throughout my entire journey. I'm really proud, and I think everyone in this program should be really proud of themselves for making it this far, up to graduation. Just from when I think about myself, from the beginning of my tech journey, from writing my first line of code all the way up till now, it's been a really quick and really exciting journey all throughout. And I know I have, and yeah, I know I have so many more experiences to experience, and I'm really looking forward to all the different opportunities to come. Happy hacking.
Thank you, Messiah, and happy hacking. Up next, we have our SRE pod leader, Mr. Hugo, and I think he also is here in the chat section as well. But let's see what does he says about MLH Fellowship and his experience as a pod leader.
I became a pod leader after being a fellow in the spring. I had the chance to work with AWS on the CLI. After that, I heard from my pod leader that they were opening positions to being a pod leader. So I applied. I was part of the full loop of the interviews. I got to meet Jay, Swift, Will, and after that, I became a pod leader since the summer. So a day-to-day, like, I don't know, experience for a pod leader is I would usually in the mornings check out the progress on the LMS from the fellows, since I'm an SRE pod leader. Then I would reach out to them to check on if they're having any blockers, if they're facing any issues, and help them with technical blockers. And in the evenings, usually Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, we usually have meetings to meet and share our notes, our updates, have some meetings, some I don't know, some workshops, some lightning talks, having office hours with the mentors. So that's pretty much it, how a day in the pod leader looks like. So the challenges is that every fellow is a universe. With that, I mean is that every fellow has a different, for example, knowledge about a certain technology. Their passions may be different, although everyone shares the same passion about technology. And that makes it a little difficult to sometimes explain a topic to everyone because you don't know how much they know about that topic in particular. So I've been trying to learn in this couple of months to how to adapt the teaching or the mentoring to every level, whether someone is starting in Python, someone who is already proficient in Python, and someone who's an expert in Python. That is something I would say is the difficult part of being a pod leader, but I enjoy it. It's a challenge. The highlights of being a pod leader is watching the fellows grow from when they started the program and when they exit the program, like when they finish, they graduate. You see all the progress, not just in terms of technical knowledge, but in personal growth they experience throughout the fellowship. And I'm really proud of the progress they made. I mean, for example, at the SRE program, they didn't know anything about SRE, and I'm very happy that after the fellowship, they have very fundamental and important knowledge about SRE, about all the different topics you can learn at SRE. So watching them grow from the beginning until the graduation, it's very rewarding. So obviously I've been learning, for example, at this program, I've been learning more about SRE. I was eager to be an SRE fellow, but since I'm outside North America, I couldn't be part of. But being a pod leader, I got to learn about SRE a lot together with the fellows. And yeah, I mean, I've been improving my mentoring skills, like helping people unblock themselves, and I don't know, like how to make engaging presentations or meetings. So I think it's been a very fun, like, learning journey, and I'm sure I share that same journey with the fellows. So my message for my fellows and all the fellows is that even though the fellowship is ending soon, sadly, this is not the end of your growing journey. I think from now on, you have to look for as many growing opportunities you can find in your way, even though this is ending. This is pretty sad, but you have a lot of opportunities to certify yourself, to learn new skills, to apply for jobs, to get a job and get new learnings. And yes, this is just the beginning.
Exactly, Hugo. This is not the end of the fellow's journey. This is just the beginning. And yeah, I am live and I can see your messages. All of the audience who are typing in the chat section. All right. With that, let's move on towards the partner, SRE partner.
Congratulations on completing the Site Reliability Engineering Fellowship. Hi, I'm Salim, a Site Reliability Engineer at Google and part of the Google team involved in the MLH Fellowship. To each of you, I thank you. You've brought dedication and hard work to this fellowship. Alexis, Aaliyah, Carson, Pauline, and Sebastian, you have each conquered coding challenges, you have persevered through learning Linux fundamentals, and you have completed mock interviews. For your next steps, I know that many of you are continuing your studies. Some of you are applying to internships and to full-time positions. Google and MLH are here to support you through all of this. I encourage you all to continue learning, to continue challenging yourselves, and to pursue a career that will reward the initiative that you have shown by participating in this fellowship. Once again, congratulations on your accomplishments.
All right, so that was Salim from Google. So now let's move on towards our Web3 track, and starting off with our first fellow, Pablo.
I've always been a firm believer in the open source philosophy and about how code and knowledge in general is collaborative in nature. And I think that open source contributions are a great way to uphold that philosophy. And here at MLH, I was very excited to do so with the guidance of some amazing people and collaborating with also awesome people around the world. I think something that I am really proud of is how quickly we were able to pick up new technologies or new frameworks and produce something useful with them. Obviously, we all came in knowing a bit about uh, the the basics of programming, but um, we really got to get a deep dive into a specific technology and work with it for the past few months, and we really produce something useful. And I think it's a very good way of getting used to how fast paced the environment and working is in tech. It really helps you to get accustomed for how a workflow working in tech could be, from the using agile methodology with the daily stand-ups to how to collaborate with other people. I think that's really something important. Maybe it's something we can lose track of when we're in school or learning by ourselves, but this really puts an emphasis on how important it is to work with other people while programming, and it gives us techniques to do so. So I think that's something that it really.
All right, so yeah, that was Pablo. Thank you, Pablo, for sharing your experience. So moving on, we have our Web3, we have our Web3 pod leader.
I'm Sid. I'm from pod 22.fall.3. I'm a software engineer at NVIDIA, where I build embedded systems for autonomous vehicles, and I've been a pod leader at MLH for the past 2 batches. I became a pod leader after attending many hackathons in college and wanting to become a larger part of the community. My typical day looks like leading stand-ups for fellows, helping them with their technical issues, and talking with open source maintainers about the work that they're doing and how the fellows can help with that. The challenges of my role involve maintaining proper relationships between the fellows and the open source maintainers and ensuring that everything is going smoothly with regards to the program. Some of the highlights have been the relationships that I've developed with the fellows and with the open source maintainers, and the work that I've gotten to see the fellows do in such short time. Over the past 12 weeks, I've learned a lot about the technologies used in these open source projects and ways to get the fellows more involved and more engaged with the community. If I had to give a message to the fellows, I would say I'm really inspired by the hackathon spirit that you guys bring to your projects and the way you guys get things done with little documentation and great resources and support from the open source maintainers and each other. So keep up the great work and happy hacking.
Thank you and happy hacking, Siddharth. So that was Sid from one of our pod reader for Web3. Now moving on, we have one of for the Web3 we had one of our partners Solana, but we have one of our own very staff member Alex who is going to read a note from Solana.
I'm Alex Gornett, a partner success manager with Major League Hacking. Over the past 12 weeks, you all have done some amazing stuff. And to send you off, I wanted to share a note from Donnie Shaberg, a member of the developer relations team at the Solana Foundation. To all the MLH fellows, thank you so much for choosing to build on Solana for your MLH program fellowship. It was our goal to bring some of the best protocols in the Solana ecosystem together for you to learn from and collaborate with. We hope you have enjoyed your experience as much as we have, and your enthusiasm and support has made this a success. As part of a team and as developers, we have the opportunity to use our skills and knowledge to solve real-world problems and make a positive impact on society. We can continue to push the boundaries of what is possible and create the next generation of products that may help improve the lives of people all over the world. Always believe in your abilities. Don't be afraid to take risks. Never stop learning. And always, always, always continue pursuing your dreams and your passions. We have officially opened up applications for our first ever Solana Ambassador Program. You can apply now at www.solanau.org, where you can read more about the many opportunities and benefits that await you. You are always welcome to join us for the accelerators of the future we are launching at Solana U. In addition to the many events, hacker houses, fellowships, and hackathons we are hosting and attending all over the world. We are here for you online in the Solana U Discords and Telegrams and in real life. Please drop by, say hi, good morning, and let us know how we can help. Thank you to all the MLH team. You have done an incredible job supporting us and the fellows. Thank you to all the protocols for participating and sharing your projects, time, and experience. And most of all, thank you, fellows. You are the reason we do this. You inspire us every week to share our talents and experiences with you all and the many other developers around the world. We are here to help and support you in your future endeavors. Thank you so much for sharing the opportunity to be a part of your journey. We hope to see you on the Challenger platform where education continues what MLH started. Rank up your skills and experience as you upskill your Solana development and compete against others for prizes and ranking on local and global leaderboards. Join us in building a much brighter, more decentralized future. Much love to you all, Donnie. Good luck with everything.
All right, so that was Alex. So thank you, Alex and Team Solana. So that was about Web3 track. Now moving on, we have our own team. We have our own leader of admission, Amanda. So let's see what Amanda has for us.
Congratulations, fellows. You've all worked so hard to be here and accomplished so much over the last 12 weeks. In my role as leader of our admissions team, I'm so lucky in that I get to meet you and read your applications at the very beginning of your journey with the MLH Fellowship. And it is one of my proudest moments in my career to see you all at graduation and have this opportunity to celebrate how far you've come. Did you know, fun fact, that we received nearly 4,000 applications for the fall 2020 semester? That's your group right here. And at the end of the day, it is this class of about 100 or so people that got to participate in this program this semester. That alone, you're one of the 100 out of the 4,000 who tried, is an accomplishment that you can and should be super, super proud of. Think back, or if you want to, think back to you in the past, the one who was writing your application essays, nervously preparing for your interviews, and take a moment to reflect on how far you've come and what you might say to that past version of yourself based on the experiences you've now had as a fellow. On that note, some of you may remember that on your enrollment form, when we asked you to sign up and say, yes, I want to be an MLH fellow, we asked you, what advice do you have for someone else coming through the fellowship admissions process in the future? So in preparation for this graduation, I went back and looked at some of the answers that this group submitted. And this one in particular stood out to me. And I quote, When applying to the MLH Fellowship, consider the technical experience you will get, the people you will work with, and the future collaborators and possible friends you will meet. So now that you're graduating, I hope that reflecting on these elements of the program brings you joy, especially the collaborators and friends that you've met from around the world that now make up your network and community. When I run into or get to talk to or interview alumni of our program, it is most often that community, that circle of fellow alumni and friends and people that you all will have worked with as a part of this experience, that consistently gets mentioned as the single best part of this experience. And I hope that holds true for all of you. So as you're wrapping up your experience in the MLH Fellowship, I just want to say congratulations again. Happy hacking to all of you. And I can't wait to see what you all go on and achieve. Congratulations.
So that was Amanda's, and thank you so much, Amanda, for sharing your experience and your insights. All right, with that, let's move on to something that I am very excited, and I hope that all of you are also very excited about, and that is our class photo. So let's see all of the headshots of our amazing fellows. All right, so yeah, that was the class photo. So there are a couple of more things I want to talk about before we move on towards the closing. So in this batch we introduced a leaderboard system, which is basically a way to help making the fellowship events a bit more fun and engaging. And we decided that the top 3 fellows who joins the most event and have the most score will get some amazing swag. Now that swag is still a surprise, and yeah, we will be announcing it soon, and your emails are at your doorstep. So stay tuned for that. But for now, we can maybe talk about who are the winners of those. We can talk about who are the winners of the leaderboards. So let's move on toward that. We will contact you for everything that we need from your side. But yeah, congratulations for winning some extra swags. All right. With that, so we can move on towards the closing ceremony. All right. Wait a second. I think I got a call from V. Hold on. Let me attend this. Hey. Hi V. How's it going? CTF? All right. Okay. All right. I don't know what are you talking about, but I can still share this with the fellows. All right. Okay. All right. So we just called me, and he just said something. I have no idea about this, but I can just. He asked me to share some code with you. I'm writing this down. I'm going to share this with you. Just a second. All right. I think this is it. Yeah. Okay. He asked me to share this with you. MLH and then in the bracket CON 9R4DS and then 3 exclamation mark. Take a good look at it. I have no idea about this. If anyone knows about this, please let me know. What is this? What exactly is the CTF? But yeah, so he asked me to share this, and I just did my job. Yeah, and all of you, please be witness that I did share this with you. And with that, I believe we can move on toward we can move back toward Vilgasar and see what is his closing thoughts.
Thank you to everybody for joining us for the graduation ceremony. It's been an impressive last couple of weeks, and you should all be super proud of yourselves. Now, if you haven't already, you should totally connect with each other on LinkedIn. Just because the fellowship experience has ended now doesn't mean it has to end forever. You should use the community and the network that you've built with each other and use that going forwards. And even though it may not seem useful to you now, in the years to come, having those connections, especially when people are all over the industry, will prove very, very valuable. If you'd like to revisit the MLH Fellowship, we are going to be running it again next year. Applications for our spring and summer programs are open right now. So if you're interested, you should go ahead and apply at fellowship.mlh.io. We'd love to have some of you back to, maybe try a different track, maybe try a different project, whatever it may be, we'd love to have you back. So hopefully we'll see a few familiar faces. But that is all for the graduation ceremony. Thank you to everyone who shared their memories, and thank you for coming along and tuning in. That is all from me. Happy hacking, everybody.